So coming to lying on your backs with your knees bent, feet standing on the floor. Or if you wanted to, you could slide your feet away. That would be absolutely fine. Just to take some time to settle into the practice this morning. See what's most comfortable for you. Maybe close your eyes. And dropping into a sense of what's here for you right now. This may be the first yoga class you've done for a while, or it may be the fifth you've done this week. But can you come to your mat as if for the first time? With that openness and curiosity for what's showing up right now. How does your body meet the surface beneath you? How do you connect with the floor? Can you feel your heels? Maybe one feels more strongly connected to the floor than the other. And if your legs are long, can you feel your calf muscles and the backs of your legs in general, all the way up to your buttocks? Or if you're lying with your knees bent, can you feel each footprint, the sole of each foot? And continue like this, traveling up the body, up the back, the rib cage, the shoulders and the arms, to the head. And initially simply observing the connection with the floor, but then offering yourself to the earth. And bringing your attention to the quality of your breath. Can you feel the coolness of the in-breath in your nostrils? And does the out-breath maybe feel just a little bit warmer? And which do you find you prefer, the in-breath or the out-breath? And how does the breath move your body? I'd like to take a few more moments simply lying here, breathing and sensing. And asking yourself, what's brought you to the mat? What's brought you to this practice today? Might you be able to set yourself a loving intention, a focus to keep coming back to? When we work with building stamina and strength, which is part of what we're doing today, part of what I'm doing in all of the classes, is it feels like that time of year, sap's rising. I don't know if some of you are feeling an urge to move more, to feel more vital. But when we practice like that, there's a risk that we feel we have to achieve something. We have to grow stronger. We have to do this or that. And so my intention, my invitation is for you to seek a softness and a stillness within any effort that you make in this practice. And if anything, back off rather than push yourself further. And then taking a full breath in, coming to the top of that breath in and pausing. And on the exhale, sighing with your mouth open. And take 2 or 3 more breaths like that in your own time. And then if your legs are extended, if you'd like to bend your knees and place your feet on the floor. And I've taken my socks off. I don't know if that's possible for you. But I'd like you to really create more intention around the feet now. And by this, I mean, actually, we could start with 1 foot at a time, pressing your left foot definitively into the mat, as if you're pressing into the earth. And don't worry if your hip lifts a little, that's all right, but we're just trying to really create an imprint, a footprint. You could spread your toes and then release. And then making a nice strong footprint with the right foot, pressing the foot in. And continue like this, moving from side to side. And I'm interested in the connection with the floor and your sense of your toes, the balls of your feet, your heels. But I'm also interested in what you notice about micro movements in other parts of the body. It's almost like you're walking whilst on your back. You may notice that your pelvis reacts, responds gently from side to side. And the idea is not to force this. The idea is to really be very soft at the same time as connected. And do you notice that as you press 1 foot in, that the hip maybe lifts and even releases a little? The sacrum lifts a tiny bit on that side. Some of you may notice that more of the spine becomes involved, the rib cage. Take a few moments to imagine you're walking through a leafy wood, nice soft earth beneath you. And if you're doing this for the first time, because I haven't really taught this before, you might find that there isn't a clear connection for you between the footprints and some sense of lightness in the pelvis. or any sense of the pelvis. So don't worry. Just notice what you feel. Wonderful. And then just settling the sacrum down, no longer pressing into either foot. And rolling over onto your left side and making sure that your arms and your legs are at right angles to the body. And it may be that you need to just depend on the height of your shoulders. You may need to place something under your head. And so your right palm is over your left palm. Your right ankle is resting into the left ankle. Your knees are stacked. And I'd like you to take a moment to allow the left side body, so the ribs, the hip, the waist, to give themselves to the floor, really heavy as you settle here. Now we're going to start this practice with very micro movements and we'll build into stronger poses. But for now, less is more. So please just begin to slide your right shoulder forwards. And you'll find that your right palm slides over the left palm just a little bit and then draw that right shoulder back again. So we're not going for big movements. We're just really feeling into the shoulder. Can you feel the shoulder socket? Maybe the shoulder blade as you slide and glide. And it's absolutely fine to allow the rest of the body to respond to the movements. Your head will be gently rolling. It's absolutely fine if your right knee lifts away from the left. And try not to be in a hurry with this movement. You're just sliding and gliding as your right hand strokes over the left palm and beyond it to the floor. And then draws itself back again down the wrist, down the forearm. All the while being really heavy and surrendered through the left side of the body. And then you can begin making slightly larger movements, so drawing that shoulder slightly further back, reaching it slightly further forwards. You might come all the way onto your forehead. Very oily, slidey, glidey movements. Fantastic. And this should feel, for most people, this should feel very soothing, especially if you hold a lot of tension in the upper body. It's a wonderful way of feeling into and releasing aggregated tension around the shoulders, the neck. And we'll take a little bit longer. And you decide how far back you want to draw that right shoulder. Maybe you roll right onto the shoulder blade and look to the right. Knowing that at some point you may peel that right arm all the way over and come into a full twist and your arms in a T shape. But it's not necessary. Imagine you're underwater, really floaty and slidey with the current. Allowing the movement to travel through the whole body. And I'm going to leave you to decide if at some stage when you're fully open that you may want to stay a few breaths, looking to the right and softening through that right shoulder and shoulder blade. Very gentle spinal twist. Soften the face. Or alternatively, you may find that you really love lying with your forehead to the mat and the right arm stretching right past the left arm. You choose what's right for you. Hi to those of you who've recently arrived. Good to see you. Okay, that's beautiful. And then coming over now to rest on your back. Again, legs extended, just to feel the whole body. Oh dear, sorry. And then we'll repeat that slidey, glidey, seaweedy movement on the right side of the body. So you just adjust yourself so you're lying on the right side with your arms and legs at right angles, maybe your head supported. And remember, the first thing we do is we give the side body to the earth, really drop through the ribs, the hips, the shoulder. So you feel really connected through the side body. So you know what's coming now. You choose how slowly you want to increment your movements, but start tiny is all I would suggest. Slide the left shoulder forwards a little bit and then slide it back. Really enjoying the connection of the skin of your hands, so sensual, so delicate. Noticing how your neck is involved, your head is involved. Noticing how the rest of the body responds to the movement. Very gentle, very soft. So I taught a class yesterday which had some quite strenuous side planks and other hard work for the upper body. And this, for me, just feels like the perfect antidote. There's always a risk of straining in those kinds of poses, holding tension. So I'm just sliding my way out of that. Breathe. Remembering eventually you might roll all the way to the left, but there's no hurry. We've got lots of time. Can you feel your left shoulder blade reaching towards the mat as you roll back? And then sliding over your ribs as you move forwards again. Rolling your head to the left as you draw that shoulder back to the left. And continuing. Maybe your left arm unfurls completely and you twist all the way to the left. Maybe eventually you lie completely open and just release through that left shoulder blade. Soft eyes to the left. And breathe. Soften the throat. So you can continue for a couple more rounds. But then when you're ready, it's no hurry coming to lie on your back, legs and arms extended. With that inquiry that comes with all of these classes, which is, what is the difference now as the back of your body connects with the mat, if any? Can you feel the air on your skin this morning? Can you possibly feel a tingling and aliveness in your skin this morning? And then in your own time, and again, there's no hurry, we're going to meet in an all fours position. Your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. You can always cushion your knees if you want to. And we're coming back to imagining that our neck begins where the shoulder blades meet, or where you have a bra strap if you wear a bra. It's a really long neck. And you're looking softly down in between your hands. And with this imagining of this long neck, begin to slide your eyes along the floor and then lift your eyes up the wall or up what's in front of you. But you're initiating or sensing this movement from in between your shoulder blades. Really tuning into the muscles around the shoulder blades. And then as you breathe out, initiate the movement with the tailbone. So begin to draw your tailbone down between your legs. As you draw your chin in, you scoop the front body into the back body. And so on, we continue. So we're differentiating between the thoracic and the lumbar spine. On the inhale, you're really tuning into the upper part of your spine, mid to upper. And the rest of the spine will follow. And on the exhale, you're using the tailbone to tune into the lumbar spine and the sacrum, the lower part of the back. Beautiful. It's beautiful, Claire. Take your time, really enjoy, luxuriate in flexing and extending your spine. Noticing how smooth the movement is, or maybe you get caught up a little bit in parts of the spine. And seeing if you can visualize and differentiate each vertebra. This is lovely for the eyes as well, if you really follow the line of movement with the eyes. Wonderful. And then coming back to a neutral spine. Bringing your attention to your right shoulder and right hip. And drawing your right shoulder and hip towards each other. So you're making a little curly curl, like a C shape in the side body. And in the spine, and then come back to neutral. Left shoulder and left hip, begin to draw them towards each other. You can look over your shoulder. So I'm just going to demonstrate what I don't want you to do. Because a lot of people do this, is to swing the bottom around to see if you can see it. So all the movement comes in the bottom and the pelvis. That's not what you want to do. It's a very subtle C shape in the spine. Imagine we're really returning to our fishy origins, our water origins. Imagine that gentle curling from side to side of a fish with the spine. It's a great movement for us, which we don't do very often. So try not to swing your hips or your bottom all the way around. Just draw your shoulder and hip towards each other. Lovely. Just a couple more. Fantastic. And then coming back over onto your backs. Drawing your knees in towards you with your hands. As you inhale, push your knees away from you. And as you exhale, draw them in towards you. So this is just soothing for the back, but we're going to come to a strengthening pose in a moment. Just take 2 or 3 more like this. It's wonderful if you have any stiffness in the lower back. Fantastic. And then I'd like you to push your knees away so that your thighs are at right angles and your forelegs are parallel with the floor. And then take the palms of your hands and press them into your thighs, probably close towards the knees. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to press your thighs away, but you're going to draw your abdominal muscles, your side waist, your navel back towards the floor. And then take a few breaths here. So this is a perfect example where we're strengthening, coalescing all of our muscles and our energy in the abdomen down towards the floor. And what you don't want is to start gripping in the shoulders and the jaw and the eyes. So you release whenever you need to. And then start again. So this is a really intense way of bringing our attention to all of the muscles, the tissues that enable us to stand upright, really, and to protect the lower back. So working the psoas, the deep muscles of the abdomen, the oblique muscles of the abdomen on the side. You can probably feel that. So I would release every 5 breaths and then start again and breathe for 5 breaths. And just notice what you feel. You really want your lower back to be flattening against the floor. This is Supta Utkatasana. It's chair pose or awkward pose on the back. And I think it is awkward. I'd like you to do 2 more rounds of 5 breaths before you release completely. So I find, if it's any of any comfort, I find this really difficult. And there's a danger that you can have a little bit of a twinge in your lower back. So do watch out for that and back off if you need to. But can you feel the inner thighs at the top? This is the psoas muscle. We're really strengthening iliacus, coming right the way through to the abdomen. Beautiful. And then release and bring your knees in towards you. And then on the inhale, push your knees away. And exhale, draw them in towards you. And inhale, push them away. And exhale, draw them in towards you. And then draw little circles with your knees to soothe over the lower back and sacrum. I'm kind of amazed anybody came to this class because I thought it'd be really tempting to go out into the sunshine. But thank you for coming, and then reverse the circles in the other direction. Beautiful. And we're going to come to lying on our bellies. You might want to roll over to one side, or you might like a little bit of a roll up and down the spine if that's comfortable for you. Fantastic. If you'd like to come onto your bellies and rest your forehead on the back of your hands. And just take a couple of breaths to inflate your belly against the floors. And just in case you're feeling tender in the lower back, use your breath to find space in the lower back. Soften the buttocks. And then feeling that connection between the tops of your feet, your pubic bone. You could draw your tailbone towards the heels a little bit, just to engage the lower belly. And then we come back to that sense of a very long neck. And on the inhale, starting from the shoulder blades, begin to lift your chest and your head off the floor. Looking with your eyes up the wall or whatever's in front of you. And then breathing out, come down. Take a few more like this. Let's take 4 more rounds. So if you have your attention on this area of the spine from the shoulder blades up to the head, maybe you can feel the engagement, the enlivening of the muscles around the shoulder blades that allow you to lift and come down. You don't have to come very far. Beautiful. And then resting your head and sliding your arms out in front of you so you're long and extended. And when you next inhale, you're only going to lift the right arm off the floor, and your head and chest might come with you. And then exhale, drop the right arm and the head down to the floor. And take 2 or 3 more like that, just with the right arm. So we're energizing, but we're not forcing anything. Fantastic. Take a breath, completely relaxed. And then lift the right arm and the right leg. Try not to press too much into the left hand and leg, so the whole of the right side of the body engages, and then release. And take 3 or 4 more like that. Right arm and right leg. So although this class has a theme of strength and stamina and a softness of effort, it's not about being in a gym and doing a workout. It's about bringing your awareness to how you engage in the body, with the body and the breath. And then rest. How you notice what's going on, really. That's what's important. And then next inhale, lift the left arm only. Allow your chest and your head to rise, but without force. And then come down. And continue for 3 or 4 more rounds. Not straining the neck. Can you feel your ribs? Fantastic. Take a breath in the rest. And then lifting the left arm and leg together. Try not to press into the right arm and foot. And livening the left side of the body. Take a few more rounds. And then resting. Softening the shoulders, space between the shoulder blades. And as you next breathe in, lifting everything, both arms, both legs, spread your fingertips and your toes, and breathe out, come down. And take 2 or 3 more like that, lifting everything, feeling the whole of the back body engaged, but not exhausting yourself. Maybe taking 1 more if that's available for you. And then resting, soften the forehead. Diana, Martin, you have your camera absolutely perfectly arranged, so I can see everything. Brilliant. Hello. Lovely. Now, if you're feeling really tired, stay resting. Otherwise, we'll take 1 final back bending movement here, which is a little bit more effort. You slide your arms out in front of you again. And you inhale and you lift everything. And as you exhale, you draw your elbows down towards your hips, retracting the shoulder blades down the spine. And continue as if you're swimming, reach on the inhale. Exhale, draw down, shoulders away from the ears. And keep going like that. Keep going. If you need to rest, rest, and then start again. Otherwise, I'd like us to take, say, 4 more. Focus around the area of the shoulder blades and the back of the ribs. Breathe. And then rest. Rest completely. Drop your heels out. Rest your head on your hands. And notice what that's done to your breath. And in your own time, if you want to stay on your belly, please do. But you might like to slide your hands close to your ribs. Gently bring yourself back to a pose of the child. Your knees can be together, they can be apart. You could take your arms around the body or release them forwards. And allow yourself to settle and drop and soften. Fantastic. Let everything go. Just noticing the after effect of so much attention to the muscles of the back body. Tuning into your own intention if you chose one. And softening your skin. Surrendering yourself to the earth. Wonderful. And then very gently, in your own time, meeting me sitting with your feet out in front of you. So we're going to do something we didn't do in the Monday class. I think it's only you, Teresa, actually, who overlaps this time. But this is a bit of foot love, a bit of toe love coming up. And Teresa, you know why. Lovely. So I've actually got my left heel coming in towards my groin and my right foot out in front of me, so I can just reach the right foot. And this is best with bare feet. So you're holding your right foot with your right hand and make a fist with your left hand and start using the knuckles of your left fingers to massage into the sole of the foot, quite firmly into the instep, into the middle, into the heel, the ball of the foot, into the toes. So I don't know if you can feel this, but as we use our knuckles, we're enlivening the plantar fascia. We're nourishing the tissues in the soles of the feet, which can become quite tender and tight for a lot of us. This is if you have really stiff feet and toes, this is a really good thing to do every morning. And you could do it for much longer than we're doing, but let's leave that now. And just feel the after effect. Also, all of our nadi in the Indian yogic tradition, the energy lines or the lines of prana, or in traditional Chinese medicine, all the ends and beginnings of our meridians are in the soles of the feet. So we're really connecting into the energy lines that go through the whole body. So anyone who's into reflexology will be familiar with that. Okay, and then holding up your right foot and taking your left hand and seeing if you can give your right foot the left hand by placing a finger in between each toe. And I know for some people this just will not be possible, so be gentle with yourselves. You're going to clasp your toes, and if you absolutely can't get your fingers in between, just hold the toes. And then we're going to gently push the toes back, pull them forwards. Take a little bit of care here. So if you're somebody like me who walks barefoot a lot, then you might not notice very much going on here. But if you're somebody who finds yourself shoe-bound, so if you've just gone out of the room and come back in again, you're taking your left fingers and placing them in between your right toes. I know you've got a lot of demands over there. Lots of love to you. And you're just gently, if you can't get your fingers in between your toes, just holding onto your toes, just easing your toes forwards and back, very gently and lovingly. And then using the clasp around the toes to circle into the ankles. This is called an ankle crank. And it's bound to be a little bit glitchy. And then reverse the direction of your crank. Wonderful. So again, these are things you could do every morning. And then release and just give your foot quite a shake. So I'm holding my foreleg and just shaking the foot. So I'm not actively moving the ankle, I'm just shaking through to the toes. And then releasing. And noticing the difference between each side. Excuse me. And we'll just take that bit of foot love to the other foot. So you've got your left foot. Knuckles of the right hand begin to massage into everywhere you can get into in the sole of the left foot. And this is so good for us. It really, really is. And you might find that you just kind of corkscrew a little bit with your knuckles into areas where you feel, even where you feel quite tender. Have a little go, have a little push into these pressure points. I don't know how many of you have had Thai massage or reflexology. There's a lot of work with things called mama points in the soles of the feet and other parts of the body, but we're basically nourishing them and activating them here. And like I said, you could continue doing this for ages, but let's just feel the after effect before taking our right fingers in between the left toes. Only as much as is possible. And then very gently pushing your toes towards your knees, pulling them to the right, just moving them forwards and back. You may find your toes are more responsive on one foot than the other. And then having that ankle crank where you use the grip to circle into the left ankle. In one direction, and then in the other direction. So I taught a version of this class on Monday, and a couple of people said to me that the little bit of the sequence that is to come now after this was difficult for their toes, difficult for their feet and their ankles. So I'll be interested to know how it feels for all of you after we've done this foot and toe love. Okay, letting go, having that shake. And then just leaning back on your hands and feeling your feet. Circling gently into the ankles if you want to. Lovely shaking, Claire. Fantastic. Thanks for sticking with me, all of you, with that. And then coming onto your knees with your toes curled under. So this is where, for some people, it's tricky. And if it's absolutely impossible, just release your toes. I quite like to lift my knees so that I can just spread my toes with my fingers before settling back down again. And then placing your hands down on the floor in front of you. And I would like you, if you can, to be really still at the back of your neck, still from the shoulders all the way down the arms to the hands, soften the wrists. And this already is quite a stretch for the toes. Can you feel that? Anyone who I can see me? Yeah. And it may be that this is where you want to be. Maybe that this is enough. But maybe also you might like to try to begin to ease your heels towards the floor, watching your knees lift, and then drop your knees back down again. And do this a few more times, both knees lifting, heels moving towards the floor. And you're just supporting yourself with your hands and your arms. There's a stillness there. And some of you will begin to lift your bottoms, easing your heels towards the floor as you come into a downward dog. But forget the image of what a downward dog should look like. Just drop your knees again. And keep going. I'll leave you to take a few rounds like this. There's an ease in the upper body, and you're taking the effort into the lower body. Quiet in the wrists. And it may be that you find coming into dog quite difficult this way, or you might really enjoy it. Looking lovely. Just taking a couple more rounds. And then resting in child's pose. Soft wrists, maybe palms facing the ceiling. Beautiful. And then if you'd like to come back up again, toes are curled under, but this time bring your right foot forwards for this little sprinting position. So your right heel is about level with the left knee, or it could be a little bit further forwards. And you're on your fingertips. In fact, you could have your fingertips about level with the right ankle. Great. Yeah, if you need bricks, that's fine. And maybe you can sit back onto your left heel. So this is where you have to just work out for you. Everyone's going to be different here. Some of you will feel that you're resting your right ribs and armpit on the right thigh. So you can really just drop into that. And then all I want you to do is begin to lift the left knee off the floor. So you roll back a little bit towards the left heel. And then you drop the knee again. Let me come around this way to show you. So you lift the left knee and you rock. Aiming to sit back towards that left heel. So I know that for some people this is going to, might be difficult for the knee, might be difficult for the ankle and the foot. That's looking good. Okay, and then rest the left knee down. And then begin to lift your bottom, taking the left heel towards the floor as you drop over the right leg, the right knee's bent. And then come down again. So we're really curling the spine. And keep moving in between these two positions. Unfurling, straightening that left leg if you can. And coming back down. So when you come all the way up, there just should be a small stride between your right heel and your left toes. Your feet, Claire, you look like your feet are really wide apart. So when you come down, your right ankle, your right heel is in line with the left knee. It's not a big stride. And it's quite deceptive, this move. It feels maybe quite fluid and easy for some of you, but actually it requires quite a lot of strength from the lower body. Fantastic. And then come back to resting on both toes, hands out in front of you. Nice and quiet, the back of the ribs, the neck. And we'll come back into just a 2 or 3 dog poses, lifting your bottom, easing your heels towards the floor. Really still in the upper body. Lovely and quiet. Wonderful. Take a brief child's pose. Real sense of stillness and rest here. Breathe. Okay, my lovelies, if you'd like to come up and take your left foot forwards and sit back on your right heel. Just look at me to kind of see the alignment if it was a little bit confusing to you. So the left heel is in line with the right knee. Some of you had your foot really quite far forwards like that, but it's actually as if you're about to start sprinting. Fingertips on the floor. And then to begin with, all we do is lift the right knee and rock back towards the heel. Drop the right knee to the floor. So it's nothing complicated. So I can see some of you are coming into Diana, look at what I'm doing. I'm just rocking back. I'm not lifting my bottom off my heel. Just rocking back. Feel it as a massage for the toes. That's really what we're doing. Perfect. And then at some stage, then begin to lift your bottom and release your right heel towards the floor. Left knee bend. And continue between those movements, coming down. Take it easy. If it's tiring, really back off, come into child. Perfect. That's much better. A few more rounds. That's looking brilliant, Teresa. Okie doke. Let's drop both knees to the floor. Rather than come into child, can you just come down on your forearms? Feet are released. And just drop your chin. And become very soft. Soften the jaw. Soften the forehead. Then we're going to slide our forearms forward so that our hips are above our knees. And it doesn't really matter if your palms are down or up. I just quite like you to be really soft in the palms and the wrists here. And curl your toes under again. So this is a brilliant, brilliant opportunity to notice how still and soft you can be in the part of the body where you might be beginning to feel a little bit of effort. So feel the weight of your arms, feel the space across the back of the ribs, your neck. And then begin to lift your bottom into the air, your heels towards the floor. And then drop your knees down again. And we're just going to take that movement a few times. So it's like a downward dog, but on our forearms. And just see how you go. Some of you might come up and feel that you want to walk your feet further in towards your elbows. And even rock a little bit when you're up here. That will completely depend on you. Fantastic, Diana. This is actually working towards a pose called dolphin pose. And it's the pose that is used to prepare for headstand. And I've just had the green light from the eye hospital to say that I can do as many headstands as I want. Yes, I'm totally delighted, having avoided them for the last 3 years. So all my classes, you're all going to be standing on your heads before you know it. Lovely. So keep going, but have a rest in child whenever you need to, because this is bringing a little bit more effort into the whole system. Fantastic. Lovely and still in the shoulders. Have a go at just resting in child, or maybe coming up into this pose and walking your feet more in towards your elbows, if that feels like the right thing to do. Beautiful, Claire. can you do this with a stillness and a love in your shoulders and your arms, rather than the pressure and a force? And then everybody rest in child. Maybe wrap the arms around the body now to release into the shoulders and come super soft. Settle into the breath. Really soften the shoulders away from the ears and release into your buttocks and hips. Wonderful. Please meet me again on your forearms, hips over the knees. But this time, your forearms are parallel and your palms are facing down. And the aim in the next little sequence is to keep your pelvis as level as possible. So you're going to take your right leg long, curl under the toes. And then take the left leg long, curl under the toes. Forearm plank. And then bend the right knee, bend the left knee. So we're just going to raise the mention of a headstand sent you running. Just going to move in and out of this forearm plank. Dropping your knees, lifting them again, trying not to move the pelvis, keep it level, stable. And again, only doing as many as feels right for you. If you need to rest, please rest. Remember what I said at the beginning of the class. Try not to lift your bottom in the air. And maybe, it'll depend on how you're feeling today, maybe you come and you stay for 5 breaths. With that stillness between the shoulder blades, that stillness in your arms and your shoulders. And then rest. Just a brief child's pose. So for many people, but especially women, not always, but especially women, upper body strength is a challenge. We've got nice strong legs and hips and feet. But for many of us, the upper body is a weaker part, and it can be really empowering, really enlivening to energize in this part of the body. And sorry if you are super strong in the upper body, it might not occur, it might not apply to you. Okay, meeting me on all fours, but now on your hands rather than your forearms. Always resting when you need to. And taking your fingers in any position that allows your wrists to feel really comfortable. So it's all right if they're turning out a little bit. And then we do exactly the same thing as we did on the forearms, trying not to move the pelvis. Right leg goes out, then the left. And then drop one knee at a time. So we're looking for a stillness in the pelvis and the shoulders. Not sticking your bottom in the air. So this now is Phalangasana, plank pose. And you might prefer the moving version, or you might come to stay for 5 breaths. Nice and long in the back of your neck. Noticing the stillness, but staying with the breath. And then coming to rest again. So we're building it up. we're building it up, and we'll do it again next week, maybe with some variations, because it's just a really useful build up of strength. And it's also about an efficiency of using the whole body to distribute the effort through the whole body, to not get caught up in one particular muscle or particular area. Beautiful. Last pose in this series of plank work. Does feel a little bit more like we're in a gym, but I hope you're being very delicate. We come back onto all fours. And this, I'm going to show you a variation for side plank. So it's not going to be for everybody. I'm on my left hand, directly under the shoulder. My right leg is extended, but I'm staying on the left knee, lifting up one arm. Now this may be where you want to stay, but if you feel you've got enough strength in the left arm, slide the left foot under the right. Maybe that you need the knee down, or maybe you can slide the foot under the right, or you bring the right foot in front of you if that's too strong. And the raised arm can be over by your ear. So this is strong now. Side plank is really strong. It's not for everybody. Keep that left knee down if you need to. And take 5 breaths. Lift it. That's great, Claire. Lift your hips, you're sideways towards the ceiling. Distribute the effort through the whole body. Lovely, Diana. Okay, and then gently release. Come to all fours. So that doesn't really feel like it belongs in a gentle yoga class. Slide the left leg away, bring the heel down. Make sure your right wrist is directly under the shoulder and lift up your left arm. So this is just lovely. You can take the arm over your ear. You can stay like this. Don't feel you've got to come into the full pose, but if you want to, slide the right foot under the left. You can always take your left foot forwards to give you more support. And again, we're trying to keep the pelvis level. Breathe. And smile. Wonderful. And then gently come back to all fours and take a brief rest in child. Please massage your wrists if they feel like a vulnerable part of the body. And soften between the shoulder blades, soften in the shoulders. So the contents of this class and the classes for this sequence of classes are responding to feedback about a few people wanting to build strength, a few people feeling that the classes were getting too gentle. But I know that everyone has different needs. So if you're somebody who really likes the most gentle type of yoga, the challenge is going to be how you encounter what we're doing at the moment. How do you respond to it? And how do you adapt yourself in such a way that it's possible and nourishing rather than a strain? Please meet me in a downward dog. And take 5 breaths to really just settle through the shoulders and the arms, dropping the head nice and long in the neck. And then looking in between your hands and walking your feet forwards into a standing forward fold. And take a few breaths here just to decompress the spine. You can keep your knees bent. And it's really nice after what we've been doing to roll the shoulders up and around. See if you can really feel into the shoulder blades as you dangle and sway from side to side. Wonderful. And then when you're ready, pressing into your feet, those nice footprints, roll yourself up bone by bone. Shoulders are rolled forwards until right at the last moment when they roll back again, up around the ears. And you unfurl into a standing pose. And we have a little standing sequence to round up with, because we've been doing everything close to the mat. Just make sure your feet are parallel and underneath your hip crests, or they could be a little bit wider if you want. And take your hands to your hips. And it'd be really great now for you to feel into those footprints that we felt into right at the beginning of the class. And then sit back into your chair, Utkatasana. And your knees should be behind rather than in front of your toes. And instead of sticking your bottom out and having a curve in the lower back, I want you to tuck the tailbone under so you've got a lovely straight back. Can you take 5 breaths here? Tuck your chin in. And find the effort of the pose distributed through the whole body. Can you feel a rebound off the floor and energy from the earth? One more breath in. And then push through your feet on the exhale to come all the way up. Feel the body. Arms by your sides. And then lifting your arms so that they're parallel with the floor, palms are down. Come back into the same pose. So it's really common for people to stick their bums out. I want you to tuck the bum under and pull the side waist in. Relax in the shoulders. And take 5 breaths here. Soften the jaw. Feeling the distribution of effort through the whole body, not just in the quadriceps and the hamstrings. One more breath in. And use your breath out to lift up, arms over your head. Take a breath in here, and then arms down by your sides. We take one more. If you found with your arms parallel that this was strain on the shoulders, take your hands back to your hips. We'll try again with your arms parallel. Otherwise, bring your arms up by your ears, palms facing each other. Take a breath in, and then sit back in your chair, Utkatasana, also known as awkward pose. And either look at your toes or avert your eyes up in between your hands, only if that's right for you. 5 breaths. One more breath in. Use the exhale to push you out. And release your arms. Take a moment to feel the body. Can you really feel that connection through your feet and the floor? Take a step back with your right foot. Just a step. Make sure you're not walking a tightrope. And as you breathe in, bend into the left knee and lift the arms up by your ears. And as you breathe out, arms come back down, straighten the left leg. Take a few moving warrior ones like this. a lightness in the shoulders. And then come to a warrior one and stay there. That leg is strong. And reach up through your fingertips, lovely long in the side body. Inhale. And as you exhale, slide the shoulder blades down the spine, retract, just like we did on our backs. Breathe in, lift. Breathe out. So you're opening dragon wings or bat's wings. Feel the muscles on the back. Lovely open chest. And this might be enough for you, or maybe you come to open wings and you begin to bring the weight forwards onto your right big toe. Maybe even floating the right leg up and coming into warrior three. And you might stay, or you might delicately move back again. Beautiful. Can you have a little play? I'll leave you to play. Once in warrior three, you might like to extend your arms long. Draw them back again. Please don't hold your breath. Wonderful. And then stepping your feet together when you're ready. Taking a moment to feel the body. Notice the breath. And then step the left foot back for the same thing. Make sure you're not walking a tightrope. Inhale, bend into the front knee, swing the arms up. Exhale, come back again, straight front leg. A few rounds like this. Soft eyes. And then at one point when you're up, staying up, nice strong back leg. Inhale and reach to the sky with your fingertips. Exhale, slide the shoulder blades down the spine. Retract as you open your wings and take a few breaths like this. And only if you want to, coming into your warrior three. And having a little play. Either staying or moving in between the poses. Maybe lengthening out your arms and retracting them again. Just a little play. Always breathing. Beautiful. And then step your feet together. Take a moment to breathe, to feel the ground beneath your feet, to feel the whole body. And then come down a moment to sit on your heels if that's comfortable, only if that's comfortable. And with your eyes closed, drop the shoulders away from the ears and notice the quality of your breath. Maybe noticing a particular quality of stillness. And coming to lie on your back when you're ready. And we'll take a very, very simple, barely a twist, just a very simple release into the hips. Feet are wide, arms are wide. And all you're going to do is slide your knees from side to side, head in the opposite direction. So we've worked quite hard, I think, towards the end of the practice. So be really gentle now as you just ease your way through the spine, through the pelvis, through the shoulder girdle. And you could do this windshield wiper movements as long as you like, but at some stage, sliding your feet away and coming to rest. Making sure you're warm enough. Inviting your intention back in if that's relevant for you, and giving yourself again to the earth. And setting your attention free to wander. Noticing everything that arises in the field of your awareness. And of course, taking as long as you like to rest. Your body might want you to rest longer. But if you're ready to come out with me, beginning to take a few slightly deeper breaths. And introducing any gentle movements into your body of your choice that bring you gently, delicately into a waking state. Maybe rolling your shoulders, moving your head from side to side. Bring a little hug, knees into your chest. And at some stage, rolling over to one side for a little rest before you meet me sitting eyes closed with your hands together in front of your heart space. And taking the final moments of your practice to reflect on how you encountered this practice, how you responded to it, whether or not you honored your intention, and noticing how you feel now in your body and the quality of your breath and your inner landscape. And taking a full breath in towards your heart space. And as you breathe out, bowing your head chin to your chest, emptying the lungs completely. And allowing the next in-breath to lift your head and to open your eyes. Thank you very, very much for joining me. Namaste.